Grand Solar Flash update for September 1st, 2024. Get ready for what is coming. We're about to experience a massive timeline shift. Everything is changing. My suggestion for you is to question your reality and then change it, because 5D is coming for Earth and nothing can stop it. Hello, my friends. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard. And so I'm here to share with you some information that I've been receiving and sensing. The last meditation we did was very powerful, even though, as you've noticed if you've been doing, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, the live guided interdimensional meditations, which we do every Wednesday and Saturday, assuming that my body can handle the energy. This last one we did, as you saw, I've really toned back. Normally I spend a lot more time chanting the Huar breath, and I'm listening to my energy body, which has been telling me that it's at capacity. So I do just a few repetitions of the mantras, and I had a very powerful experience. I had even that one, even with the reduced amount of energy that we were putting into it, I had perhaps the most powerful experience of myself yet. And so I've had a couple of visitations since then. This is Sunday, we did it yesterday. And the message that I most recently got today was that get ready. Be prepared. Be prepared for anything. Everything is going to change. So I don't know exactly what that means. I can tell you that I know that there's a lot of stuff going on in the light being world around Earth. My ears are literally buzzing. I'm getting, my right ear, there's a lot of buzzing in my ears, both of them. So, that means something's up. And like I said, the message I got was that there was going to be a major timeline shift. Now, I got the impression that I was going to be able to see like a Mandela effect that I guess most people wouldn't be able to see. I don't know what that is yet. I do know that I recently, I almost made a video about it, but I recently came across a Mandela effect that for me had changed. Now maybe it hasn't changed for you, but the movie Forrest Gump, the way I remember the Mandela effect was that Forrest's mother says, life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's the Mandela effect. Originally, because I remember it, she said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. He repeats it verbatim in the beginning of the movie when he's sitting on the bench. He repeats it verbatim. He says, my mama always used to say, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So the Mandela effect was that his mother changed it. And she said, life is a box of chocolates. But he said, life is like a box of chocolates. So that was the Mandela effect that I remember. This is the thing about Mandela effects. Just because you remember something different doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong, or that you're right and I'm wrong. Because the whole idea of the Mandela effect is that history is changing. And so if history changes, people's memories will change. So that's why you have people remembering two different things. A lot of people believe it means a timeline shift. I personally, even though I use the word timeline shift, I use that because people understand it, but that's not how I believe it works. I believe that that there isn't multiple, coexisting timelines. There's us, and we are, we have one existence, we have one identity, but we have infinite numbers of probabilities that we can choose from at any given moment. So it's possible to switch back and forth between different probabilities, or if you switch into a different probability, your entire past changes. Or you could switch into a different probability and you can remember your other past from your other identity. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I think is going on. In any case, the new Mandela effect for me is that in the beginning of the in the beginning of the movie, Forrest Gump says, "My mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never knew what you were going to get." However, in that scene, in the current version, his mom says what I said to you before. She says, life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Now, the thing that blew my mind is that I clearly remember that Forrest did not say that at the beginning. He did not say, my mama always said life was. He was continuing to say, life is like a box of chocolates, but his mom in the flashback said life is. And there was this discrepancy. But now she says life is a box of chocolates, and he says life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get in the present tense. So it doesn't make any sense. So the message I took from that, again, what I think that there are spiritual messages embedded in Mandela effects, meaning that, let me give you again my theory of what Mandela effects are. Again, reality is we don't live in a single timeline where there's a past, a concrete past, a present, and a future, and you can switch to different already existing timelines. As I said, that's not how I believe it works. We are one identity, but we keep creating new realities. Now, if we stay in our same mindset, we continue to create probabilities that back up the same mindset, so our past stays the same. But if we switch to a different probability based on choice, and what I mean by that, let's be clear about that. Let's talk about that for a second. It's not arbitrary. Your probabilities are based directly on your focus on what you want, what you desire, what you fear, and what you intend. So this is why, again, you have to drop the victim mentality. However many of you still believe that there are false beings of light trapping you and that there are evil beings torturing you. By the way, people every now and then ask me, I'm being attacked by spirits, what can I do? I used to be an exorcist, so I know that evil spirits exist, but I stopped doing exorcisms when I realized that you can't be attacked by any spiritual force unless you unconsciously give that being permission, which means that you are focused on negativity. Usually people who have been severely damaged, severely abused, severely traumatized, they carry this with them in life. They carry a negative, fear-based outlook into life, understandably so. So they keep creating that probability. When their unconscious need to experience being, abused and traumatized, when that is greater than actual physical reality can provide, then what ends up happening is that a spiritual entity will show up, a dark entity from a lower dimension will show up. And what ends up happening is that there is an unconscious, energetic deal. There's a contract that is made. The human being says to the negative spirit that they want to be distracted from their pain, and they want to be distracted from being victimized. They want to be afraid. They want to be traumatized. The negative being says that they will traumatize that person in exchange for their life force, because negative beings can't create life force, so they have to feed. So it's a give and take. So now when people come to me and they talk about, I'm being attacked, I've been attacked for years, can you heal me? My response is to give them links to videos to let them know that they have to first decide that they are going to drop the victim mentality. They're going to trust the universe. They're going to go to therapy if necessary and work on the pain, work on the trauma, work the 12 steps, go to Al-Anon or CODA or adult children of alcoholics, or if they have an addiction, they're gonna work through their issues. That is what's going to heal them, because way back when, this was 40 years ago, when I used to do exorcisms, I had the ability to cast out the negative entity, and then I would tell the person, because they were always screwed up every single time. You never have a person who's happy and functional all of a sudden getting attacked by evil spirits. It never works like that. So they were always screwed up in some way, and I would say, listen, you have to start going to counseling. You've got to clean your act up. You got to clean your life up. Otherwise, the evil spirit is going to come back. And they'll say, yeah, no, I got it. I'll be okay. And of course they didn't. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't go to counseling. They wouldn't do anything to address the pain or the issues, and they would end up possessed again. And then when I realized, okay, so this is them, they're doing this to themselves, I'm not going to play this game with them anymore. It's on you. And I realized, there's no victims in this reality. There's only volunteers. So the reality that you experience is something that you've chosen. We could get into long discussions about your karma, your past lives, but even if all of those things are true and you came into this life with a lot of energy or pressure pushing you towards a certain direction, you chose to be here so you could overcome it. And the only way to do that is by choice. You must choose that you're going to get honest, you're going to get real, and you are going to learn how to live for yourself, for your own happiness, positively and healthily, etc., etc. So that's what is important when you are talking about how you manifest your probable life. So if you want to change timelines, it's okay to think like that. It's a perfectly good metaphor, and it works if you can latch your mind onto it. If you want to change to a positive timeline, you have to make the choice. You have to make the choice to trust the universe, trust your soul, trust God, trust Odin, Shiva, whatever works for you. You have to trust some spiritual force that's greater than you, and then you must make the commitment to live for your own health. So you got to drop all the nonsense, drop all the chemicals, and you got to drop all the self-damaging stuff. If you're addicted to it and you can't stop, that's what 12-step groups are for. By the way, 12-step groups, the 12, not the groups themselves, the act of working the 12 steps is a higher dimensional exercise. The reason why the 12 steps work is because when you do the 12 steps, again, I'm not saying when you go to meetings. People say this to me all the time. I tried going to those meetings. And then I say, oh, good. Did you work the steps with a sponsor? That's how you work the steps. It has nothing to do with I went to those meetings. It doesn't work by osmosis. But I'm getting lost in the weeds. So the point is that the probable reality that you experience is a direct result of your choice to live out your most positive, most blissful, fulfilling reality. Notice I'm not saying be a good person, be a righteous person, be a peaceful person, be a spiritual person. If I meant that, I would say that. I'm saying when you make the choice to live your happiest, most blissful, joyous life, that is the choice that will shift you to a different probable reality. Nothing else will do it. Unless, you can go more negative, you can make choices based on self-devaluation, guilt, fear, pain, greed, resentment. I know because I'm not making fun of those. Those impulses are very strong. I've struggled with that my whole life. And, thankfully I'm old enough to know the difference most of the time. So, point being, when it comes to shifting to a different probable reality, it is a choice. And there's only one way to do it, which is why in my book it's called the secret commandment. And when you read the book, I talk about the one commandment. And everybody, if you're watching this channel, you should be familiar with that book. You should read it over and over again. You can go to michaelwilliamdenny, DENNEY.com, and you will see my books. Get the shamanic secret commandment to a perfect life. Read it, treat it like a Bible. It's just it's a booklet. It's not even a book. It's a tiny book. If you can internalize that and master that, you'll shift. All right, so getting back to the subject, get ready for what is coming. There's a massive timeline shift coming. I don't know what that is. I know I can feel my spidey senses tingling. I can feel that there's major things happening in higher dimensional realms when it comes to Earth. I don't know exactly what it is. I can tell you that the meditations that we're doing are having effects far beyond what even I can imagine. I am choosing to believe what the light beings tell me. And what they tell me is that what we are doing in these live guided meditations, this is the most important, the most powerful act that anybody can take in our universe. There's nothing more powerful. And you think about it, it makes sense. We think powerful is, I'm going to make more money, or I'm going to be rich, or I'm going to be famous, or I'm going to get a perfect spouse, or, something like that. And really all that is that's just playing around inside the program. What we're doing in these live guided meditations is we are actually changing the software. So it's not about changing a couple of details inside of the game, inside of the program. I'm saying that because that's my first instinct. My first instinct is, okay, I'm gonna change my reality and have more money and have more this and have more that. And that's not necessarily what's happening when we're doing these meditations. And what the light beings are telling me is, like, you don't get it. When you're out there in your astral body, you are outside of the three-dimensional Earth program. And you are, in fact, more powerful than that. And when you chant that mantra, especially the Huar mantra, when we chant that in our astral bodies, we are literally changing the software. So we are more powerful than any human on earth in those moments. That's why, I used to, I was a little disillusioned because I was really hoping that these guided meditations would go viral, and that didn't happen. But I kept doing them anyway because I knew that was something I was supposed to do. And what I found out was that it's not about how many people are doing it, it's about who's doing it. So if you're one of those, I don't know, there's a small number of people who are doing these meditations live and or after they've been uploaded. If you're one of those people, even if I don't know who you are, I know that you are the definition of a starseed, which means that you're an extremely powerful being that has chosen to come to Earth for this time. And there's literally nothing more important and more powerful than that you can be doing. There's nothing more powerful. Even if you became president of the world, even if you became emperor of the entire earth, and you had all of the power of all of the money and all of the armies at your command, and you could command laws to make none of that, you'd still be playing around inside of the program. That is not the most powerful place to be. The most powerful place to be is outside of the illusion, outside of the matrix, and changing the matrix from the outside. And that is what we are doing. We don't know that, I'm sitting here in my third dimensional brain. My third dimensional brain doesn't know that because this is all part of the program. So, as long as I'm functioning with my third dimensional brain, I'm not going to be able to understand that. When I'm out there, I sense it. And again, my third dimensional brain doesn't understand it, but I'm sure that my higher dimensional self does. And again, these last meditations, maybe you can share in the comments your experiences, things that you saw, things that you heard. But what I saw of myself was even larger and more powerful than anything I'd been seen or shown. And you guys have heard some of the things that I shared with you what they were telling me. So when we have to make more videos on this, really bend your mind, but when we really start to understand how higher dimensions work and the difference between higher dimensions, just from the fourth dimension to the third, and why it's not the grandiosity of what you're being told is really nothing in a higher dimension. It's nothing unusual at all. But we are far more than this. Our true selves cannot be contained within the third dimension. The third dimension can only hold on to our perception. So we have to shrink our perception down to fit into this three-dimensional meat sack. But it's just a tiny percentage, less than 1/2 of 1% of you fits into your third dimensional brain and body. 99.999999999% of your essence is outside of the program. All right, so the theme is choice. Anyway, I don't know what the specifics are, but keep your eyes open. There's going to be a huge, massive timeline shift. Perhaps there's going to be a big Mandela effect. I'll let you know if I become aware of it. Everything on Earth is changing, and I don't know what the dark forces have in store. They've always got something planned. They are always 10 steps ahead. They always have plan B, C, D, E, F, and G. So if one of their plans doesn't work out, they have a bunch of others to back it up. They are failing miserably. If you just watch what's happening in just in the United States, they're failing miserably all over the place. But anyway, so keep your eyes open for them. Never give them the benefit of the doubt. Never think that they've stopped, working to do their dirty deeds. So something big might be happening on that level. My hope is whenever we do these live guided meditations, part of my intention is to prevent them from causing harm. So I really focus on that. Keep your mind on that. I'll end this video with this. If you remember in the this most recent live guided meditation, we didn't end the meditation. Normally we end the meditation, we come back into Earth and we come back into 3D. I purposefully didn't do that. And what ended up happening for me is that, we were out there, we went to our 5D and we created that. We went to that resonance. I felt it. It was just amazingly powerful. And then for whatever reason, I had the idea that let's just simply open our eyes and stay there with the hope that we'd open our eyes and we'd be in that 5D. I think eventually that will happen. So that's it. Haven't said a whole lot. If you're new to the channel, here are the ways you can support this channel. Subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell button so you can be notified. Do the live interdimensional meditations as often as possible. Even if you go back and do the recorded ones, feel free to go back and do any of the recorded ones, especially the one on August 14th. That was the big one. Follow and like Path of the Thunder Wizard on Facebook. Share Thunder Wizard YouTube video links and Facebook posts on all of your social media. Subscribe to the thunderwizard.com Patreon site. I know people like to subscribe for free. It doesn't do anything for you, really. So subscribe at one of the tiers where you get something. That helps me. Until we get out of 3D, I need to eat. I need to pay rent. And that is what allows me to spend all my time working on the channel or, wrestling with these concepts, or I need that to be able to do this work. So without you, I can't do that. So please subscribe, and subscriptions are good because they're recurring. The recurring payments is what I bank on. I look at that and I know what if I'm going to be able to pay rent for the month. Having said that, though, you can also browse the thunderwizard.com shop for the advanced practices. If you want to feel the power of the Mao Shan practices, go to the shop. There's inexpensive practices that you can get that you'll never find anywhere near as powerful as the things that I teach. So in fact, I dare you to prove me wrong. People who've been doing Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong their whole life, when they do the Mao Shan practices, they get back to me and say, I've never felt anything like this. That's because there's never been anything like this on planet Earth outside of the Mao Shan tradition. Browse the thunderwizard.com shop, and please remember I do need your support to keep this channel going. Having said that, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and I really appreciate all of your support, all of the ways that you do support. I especially am grateful to anybody who are doing these practices and who are doing these live guided meditations. You are literally changing not just the world, you are changing reality. And I'm coming to realize that this is the most powerful thing. I'll shut up with this, but again, I've always been a little bit confused as to why my channel doesn't get more views and subscriptions. And what I'm come to realize is it makes sense, because if I was if I was plastered all over the place and I was telling my truth, to millions of people on all kinds of different places, the dark forces would probably come looking for me. So it's good that we're flying under the radar, because if they knew what we were doing, they would probably come after us. All right, but I'm not worried about that. We are going to destroy their power. That's it for me, my friends. Thank you so much for your time. I love you and appreciate you. Please know that you are the most powerful being that has ever existed. Know that your lovability and your worth comes simply because you exist and you are conscious and you experience life. And there's literally nothing you can do that will make you more lovable and valuable than you are, simply because you exist. And I thank you for creating this world and creating me and allowing me to experience this reality and to share it with you. Thank you so much for your generosity, and I bow down and worship you, especially when you chase after experiencing your own joy, your own bliss, and you live for the fulfillment of your soul. All of the beings in the cosmos, including the most powerful gods, bow down before you and thank you, because when you live for your joy, all conscious beings evolve. That's it. I wish you all the best, and please take very good care of yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.